guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing some pretty crazy stuff, and if you didn't know, it's going to be crazy and fun. Have you been labeled overdramatic because you have meltdowns that are really massive? They're emotional, they're scary, maybe it includes head hitting or harming yourself in some sort of way. And are you now realizing that you might be autistic? This video is for you. In the last 3 years, I learned about myself that I am an autistic individual. And it was as though light bulbs started going off for me because I'm like, oh, this explains something massive in my life, which is these massive meltdowns I have had my entire life. As a kid, if something went differently than I expected it was gonna go, like having a dinner that I didn't want, I would have a huge meltdown. Or if we were going to something that caused a lot of anxiety for me, I would kick and I would scream and I would cry and I would be so dramatic, and I was just always told that I was overly emotional, I was over dramatic, and I never really got the support that I needed. Now, as an adult, with this new information that I am autistic, I'm able to look at those meltdowns for what they truly are. My therapist describes autistic meltdowns as though you have a fizzy drink with the cap put on and you've shaken it up a bunch, and then all of a sudden the cap has flown off and you just cannot put it back on. The autistic meltdown is this overflowing of emotions and being completely overstimulated or dysregulated and unable to bring yourself back down. That is how I have experienced autistic meltdowns and still experience autistic meltdowns. Now, I was having more frequent meltdowns in the last 5 months because of life stuff. And I realized I needed to stop being a victim to them, and I needed to start taking control of what those looked like. And that is when this idea came to me. Welcome to my autistic meltdown space. Gay frog.
And a quick pause so that I can thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. A skill that I've been wanting to improve is balancing my work schedule and my personal life, and guess what? Skillshare has a class for that along with so many others. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more. Skillshare can help take your career, skills, hobbies, passions, or side hustles to the next level. Skillshare has literally something for everyone. Anything from how to play the piano, how to start a YouTube channel, speak in a new language, the list goes on. Like I mentioned, I'm currently taking the class Mastering Work-Life Balance for Creatives with Maha Faber, who is a surface pattern designer with over 100,000 students worldwide. The tips and tricks she teaches are so helpful for someone like me who doesn't work a typical 9-to-5 job, and I am loving it so far. And the first 500 people to use the link in my description get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. You can get started today and level up your life. Back to the video.
This was a tool that was originally suggested to me by my therapist, who works specifically with autistic adults. And the idea is that when I am in an autistic meltdown, it is so hard for me to have the cognitive ability to go, what do I need in this moment? I need some simulation. I need AI. It's really hard for me in an autistic meltdown to have the cognitive ability to go, I need stimulation of some sort, or calming or comfort, and then give those things to myself. Instead, having them already in one space, the only thought I need to have is come here. And I do that now. Now, the reason it's important for me as an individual to have an autistic meltdown space that is different than like my bed is because if I spend all of my meltdowns in bed, I start to associate that space with meltdowns, and it might make it harder to sleep or just give me bad vibes in that space. And so having a separate space where I'm able to calm myself down is really helpful. This space is only used for my meltdowns or for regulating when I feel a meltdown oncoming. I got myself this nice beanbag chair when I first moved into this space, and it has been lovely. Was it expensive? Yes. Do I suggest buying it? No. There's something cheaper out there for sure. So what I want to do today is go through with you the things in my Autistic Meltdown Kit and in this space that help me to regulate and manage my meltdowns in a safer way. Firstly, you will find my 2 comfort boys. Sometimes it is helpful to just lie here and like have something to hold or something to squeeze. If I don't have somebody here with me, it's important that I have something to like hug. Hugs make things better. Great, gay frog. The other thing that I have on my mirror here are affirmations that are really supportive for me to tell myself. And it's actually really helpful that I have my mirror here because most of my meltdowns will be spent alone because I live alone and I don't have somebody at my disposal at all times to be able to say to me, Hayley, you're gonna be okay. And so some of the quotes that I have here that are helpful are, you've done this before and you'll do it again. That one is so helpful because I don't know about you, but when I'm in a meltdown, I'm like, this is how it's going to be forever. And it's hard for me to imagine that this will end. So that's helpful. The other one is you are safe. That's a great reminder for me because sometimes when I'm in a meltdown, I feel like I'm, I feel like it's all over, but I'm safe. And the last one is it will be resolved, just maybe not right now. Oftentimes what causes meltdowns for me is conflict that can't be resolved right away. And so I sit in these uncomfortable feelings that grow and grow and grow, and then I have a meltdown. And so this is a huge reminder for me to just like exist and be, and it's okay to be uncomfortable. It might not be resolved right in this second, but it will be at some point. The last little post-it note I have is a reminder of the games that I can play with myself or with somebody else to try to distract myself or like pull myself out of the meltdown. So one of them is counting different shapes or different colors within the room. So I could sit here and go, Hayley, count everything that's green. And I will sit here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll just count as many green things as possible. Or if it's shapes, finding things that are circles in the room is really helpful. The next one is the alphabet topic game. I find this one is a lot easier to do with somebody else, but essentially you go from A to Z with a different topic. So name celebrities. Albert Einstein, my favorite celebrity. And you do that from A to Z, and I have never played that game and not felt more regulated by the end of it. The last one is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory game, which is count 5 things you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And it brings you back to your body. So those are some of the games that I can play in this space, and I have a reminder of them so I don't have to think of them on my own. It's already here. The last thing I have is my plan built out for me if things are getting really tough. So firstly, I wrote out all of the signs that I might be getting amplified and moving into an area that is closer to a meltdown. So I wrote all of my feelings out. I wrote out all of the people that are supportive to me and that I can call if I need help. I even write 911 on there. If all else fails, that is a support system that is there to help me. I have had to call 911 for meltdowns before, and they've been very supportive in the past. And then I write down all of the self-soothing things that I can do if I'm able to. So for example, using my comfort kit, which in a moment we will go through. I could do some journaling, I could do comfort music, I could do any of my games, I could do some breathing. And then the final thing I have is, when do I really need to seek support? When is this no longer something that Hayley can manage on her own? And the big ones for me are that my self-soothing tools are not sufficient for whatever reason. My breathing is not slowing down, I'm hyperventilating. I have vasovagal syncope, which means that I pass out when I'm really stressed out. And so if I start to pass out, then it's time for me to call someone or tell somebody that I'm in trouble. Or if stims come out, such as head hitting, or for me, I used to be a pincher a lot when I would get really agitated. So that is when I decide to seek support. So these are all the things that are on my mirror for support. Now let's dive into my actual kit. So I got this basket and everything inside of here from Amazon because it was the easiest way for me to get these things, but I'm sure that you can find alternatives or things similar, maybe at like, I don't know, dollar stores or somewhere local to you. So I even got this basket off of Amazon. So let's see what's inside. The first one I want to address is the stems. When it comes to stems, the reason that I am doing it is I'm looking to like give myself stimulation and like release some of the energy that I have within my body. I just need to get it out. But there are easier and safer ways to do that. One of the ways I do that is with these spiky balls. These are massage balls. You're meant to use them on your body to like massage yourself. But I find that if I am really in that agitated state, if I squeeze one of these like as hard as I can, it adds little bumpies to my hand. I won't hurt myself doing this, but it gives me that same sort of pressure or feeling that I am looking for by pinching or hitting my own head. And I have used these in place of it, and it totally works. So these have been super, super helpful. I also have jewelry, which also gives that kind of like pressure stimulation to put something in your mouth and just go like, and like clench your jaw, because for myself, I clench my jaw when I'm really agitated or in a meltdown space. So having something to like chew can be supportive. And there's a bunch of different types of jewelry, so find the one that works for you. In terms of other mouth things, I have packs of gum within here, and I also have ring pops. Now here's the thing. I don't want the comments that are like, there's chemicals in that and they're gonna make your meltdowns worse. These have never made my meltdown worse. Okay, they've only actually ever helped me. And so if they make your meltdowns worse, don't use them, but they're helpful for me and they might be helpful for somebody else. Having some sort of gum or sensory item that gives me new stimulation is so helpful. There are other ways to do this. It doesn't have to be this way, but this is what works for me. Wood neck. Oh yeah, I also have a push pop in here. Delicious. Next, I have an assortment of different fidgets of some sort. So I have like squishy ones. These are really cheap ones that I got off of Amazon, but they're quite soft, and like I'm almost certain these are going to pop at some point. They haven't yet, but yeah, it's just nice to be able to squeeze something and focus on something else. The other fidget that I have with me is a Nido cube. These are so nice because you can like squeeze them so hard and they won't ever pop. And then they eventually go back to their cube shape, which is like really enjoyable to play with. Look at it, just slowly going back.
Isn't that nice?
When I thought about building this meltdown kit, honestly, what I was thinking of was comfort items, but I was also trying to think of things that hit every single one of my senses. So having items for my mouth for chewing, but also like different tastes is really helpful. Having touch things like fidgets can be really, really helpful. And another one is smells. I really, really love the smell of eucalyptus. It's very calming for me. And so I bought a eucalyptus spray. Did I know this was a shower spray when I bought it? No. Does it matter? No. Is it strong? Very. But it smells really, really good. I just give it a little in the air. I'm not gonna do it now. Actually I will. Good. Let's get crazy, why don't we? You just smell. Oh, don't you just instantly like, it like goes all the way into your lungs.
Makes you want to breathe.
It makes you want to breathe. And isn't that helpful when you're in a meltdown? So yeah, some sort of spray like lavender, eucalyptus, something that's really calming. So supportive, because I do catch myself like spraying it and then literally being like, delicious, good. The other thing that's not in my kit but lives right next to me is Lubriderm. This is another like sensory thing that making my hands feel soft or smooth, or like being able to rub my hands around one another can be so relaxing. And that's a really, really great sensation for me. It's just like, nice, smooth, relaxing. I think the reason that a comfort kit is so supportive for anyone that is autistic and experience meltdowns is that honestly, it gives me back a lot of my autonomy. It feels as though I can manage harder things because I have this all set up for myself. Sometimes I'm fearful of like not being able to do it alone. That was a really big fear of mine for a long time, and I've made a big focus in my life be, how do I set up tools so that I can do things by myself? And I have used this kit and used this space multiple times alone now, gotten through the hard thing, been able to process it and be like, oh, like I'm okay, I did it. And so now I know that when my next meltdown happens, which it will eventually, I've got it. I've got myself, I've got this space set up, and I feel more confident managing being in this space. That is everything in the kit. Oh. Yeah. Okay, bye. I I think one of the most important pieces that allowed me to build out this space was acceptance. I really pushed against this idea that I am disabled for a really long time, and I kept having these meltdowns that were disabling and really inconvenient and like hurting my life, and I was pushing against them so much. And it wasn't until my therapist really helped me to see, like, when you accept that you were disabled and you accept that you're going to have moments where that disability disables you, you might actually be able to lean into it and accept it and manage it and move through it rather than against it. And I'm noticing that there's a lot more self-love that comes from that, because I'm not so scared of my disability anymore. I feel a lot more at peace with it because of some of these tools. So I'm so curious what pieces of this meltdown kit or meltdown space might support you in your meltdowns or your day-to-day life. Because I do come here sometimes when I just feel anxious or just feel a little stressed out or something's going on. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If no one has yet told you today, I am so proud of you for putting in the work to yourself, because no one's gonna do it for you. So it's pretty fucking cool you're doing it for yourself. Thank you again for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.